their vote. The question before the House is that the 2025 fiscal framework and revenue proposals and the report of the Standing Committee on Finance thereon be adopted. Those in favor will say yes, those against will vote no, and those who want to abstain will record their vote as such. Voting will now commence. The doors of the chamber will remain locked until voting is concluded. The Secretary will now proceed to call members.
Adams RC.
Yes. Yes, Madam.
Apiri MJ. Absent. Bila TJ.
Yes.
Bilankulu NK.
Yes.
Boshielo SP.
Yes.
Bottas A. Burns Namashe Z.
Yes.
Tapa RN. Tapa RN.
Yes.
Chabane MS.
Yes.
Chawuke TM.
Yes.
Chikunga LS.
Yes.
Klute EA.
Yes.
Chrissy BD.
Yes.
Davids SW.
Yes.
Dlomo SM.
Yes.
Didiza AT.
Can we get the roving microphone, please? May I also request members who may have their microphones on just to switch it off, please?
I vote yes. Point of order.
Dikhale MC.
I
Point
vote
of order.
yes.
Secretary, Honorable Michalakas, we're in the middle of a voting process. Why do you want to be recognized?
House Chair, my apologies for doing this, but members are approaching the door and the doors are supposed to be locked.
Doors must remain locked and closed.
House Chairperson, a member actually came in after the doors were locked.
Who is the member that
Right.
came in?
The member from the PA in the green top.
Order, honorable members. Honorable members. Honorable members. Order. Order. Honorable members. Take your seats. Honorable members, take your seats. The chief order. Who is speaking? Honorable members, take your seats.
Out!
The chief of MK, can you prevail on your members, please? You are now disrupting procedures. Who is the member that came in when the door was locked? The Pantin team.
PA
Member at the back.
House Chair.
Honorable members.
House Chairperson, also on a point of order and on this subject,
Honorable members, why are you standing here? Take your seat.
House Chair.
Calm down. Yes, honorable member.
thank you, House Chairperson. The member in front of me from the Patriotic Alliance came in after the doors were locked. I watched the proceedings as it happened.
The honorable member must leave the house. The honorable, if any honorable, don't shout at me. When any honorable member came through the door after the doors were closed and supposed to be locked, there's no debate. You must simply leave. Simple. Order, honorable members. Who is the honorable member that came in? The Chief Whip of the Patriotic Alliance. Honorable members, you are now disrupting the voting.
Speaker, if he came in when the door was locked, if he was sooner, come past the door. He came in because the door was open.
Honorable Minister, please do not speak so directly into the microphone because I couldn't hear anything you said.
Thank you, Speaker. My question is, if the door was locked, as the DA is saying, how did she get in if the door was locked?
Honorable Minister,
We saw.
Honorable Minister, and this is my ruling. I'm not going to recognize any more hands. This is my ruling. The members that came through the door after I made the announcement must leave. They cannot vote.
Vice Chair, I see that.
Where's the sergeant at arms?
Speaker.
No, honorable members, just calm down.
Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Deputy Minister.
Vice Chair,
I've made
there
a
are two
ruling.
of them. I see them to go out, please.
No, honorable members.
Speaker. We don't have time.
Honorable members, why are you behaving like persons who do not understand the rules? Don't shout. You are not going to get my attention if you start shouting. It's a sign of insecurity when you start shouting because you're not sure what you want to say. Honorable Deputy Minister, and I'm not debating the point, I made a ruling. The ruling is that those who came through the door after it was closed must leave. That's the ruling.
And the guy must go.
Where is the sergeant at arms?
Honorable Speaker. Sir.
Sergeant at arms, will you see to it that those members who came through the door after it was closed leave?
Yes.
Honorable members, I'm not in a debate. We're in the middle of a voting session.
Honorable Chair.
We're in the middle of a voting session.
Honorable Chair.
Honorable members, stop shouting at me. Honorable Deputy Minister.
Here's my question. How do you use members of parliament to decide who came in or who came late? Because there's a staff. All of us here.
Please take your seat, Honorable Deputy Minister. Down. Please take your seat. You see, we expect members of parliament who have sworn, or they made an oath in parliament to accept responsibility if they know they came in late and leave. Why must you be pointed out? So I request those members who came in late simply to leave. Otherwise, I'll have to ask the sergeant at arms to remove you. No, I'm not recognizing you. I'm busy with the ruling.
Was the door locked or not?
Honorable member, the report that we have from the ushers at the door is that there was one member, Ratigas Tagoudin, who must leave the chamber immediately so that we can get on with our business. Please leave the house. Where's the honorable member? May I ask the sergeant at arms to assist the member and show them the door, please? Thank you. The Chief Whip of the DA.
Thank you, House Chair. House Chair, I'm being reliably informed that the member was fetched from the door by her party whip, who knows full well that when the voting is going on, no member...
honorable member. Honorable member.
Member was,
No.
Exit down,
member
Chief.
was also not instructed by...
Order, honorable members. Honorable member, please take your seat now. You're not assisting the proceedings.
Not in a prison here. There were two.
You're
They
not
broke
assisting.
into the house. There are banditis who broke into the house.
Honorable members, there were ushers at the doors who managed to give us the name. The chief whip of the PA was inside the venue. That is the report that we're getting, and that is the report that I'm taking in making my decision. Honorable member, we are in the middle of a voting session. Why do you want to be recognized?
No, Chair, I want clarity. If a member's name is on the register as present during the session, how can she be considered not to be part?
Take your seat. Take your seat, please. Read the rules.
How can she be considered absent from the session? She was here.
Honorable
She
Chair,
was
take your
here.
seat. Take your seat. Take your seat. There's rules here.
Could you explain the rule?
There's rules here. Please take your
Explain the
seat.
rule. Is a member who's
Honorable Chair, you are now delaying the voting in the House.
Speaker, could you explain
I'm
for
not
me?
going to allow you to delay the voting in the House. We want to proceed. Honorable members, let's proceed from where we left off.
We will, Titiza 80. Just want to make sure.
I had already indicated I'm voting yes.
Thank you, ma'am. Tikhale MC,
Yes,
Tireko DR,
yes,
Titebe SL.
Aye.
Is the member saying yes?
Yes.
Tlakute DE,
yes,
Dlelanga M,
Yes.
Dagmore CM,
Yes.
Tundra ML,
yes,
Gancho N,
yes,
Kaleka Mazibuko NA,
yes,
Gigaba KMN,
Yes.
Gina N,
yes,
Godlimpi Z,
Yes.
Kodongwana E,
Yes.
Govana Y,
yes,
Kungubele M,
Yes.
Hala MM,
Yes.
Hassan F,
Yes.
Hlongo AS,
yes,
Kehakilwe BM, sorry,
yes,
apologies for the pronunciation. Kekana PS,
yes,
Khabo GD,
Yes.
Kumalo JQ,
yes,
Gurnov GW,
Yes.
Kubai MT,
yes,
Kumbaca AN,
yes,
Lamula RO,
Yes.
Lekhethe MD,
Yes.
Lekhanyane MS,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Letsie WT,
yes,
Letsike MSE,
yes,
Likharaba LE,
yes,
Low STD,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Lucas SE,
yes,
Mabe BP,
yes,
Maduna N,
Yes.
Maeko SM,
Yes.
Magagula TE,
yes,
Mabehlala T,
yes,
Mahlangu SS,
Yes.
Mahlaule MG,
Yes.
Mahlobo MD,
Yes.
Maumapelo SOR,
Yes.
Maimela KJ,
Yes.
Majodina PCP,
Yes.
Makasi N,
Yes.
Mahato MP,
Yes.
Makubela LS,
Yes.
Malemacha CN.
Yes.
Secretary, will you just hold there, please? Honorable Reddy, why do you want to be recognized?
Speaker, how do we know that the person who's saying yes is actually that person? Maybe they should
Order, honorable members.
They should stand up and then say yes or no, so we know who they
Honorable
are.
member, we're actually
I'm just worried
proceeding.
that there's no crooks on that side of the house.
We're actually proceeding very well because from where I'm sitting, I can see each and every person here and whether it is the person that is voting. Please do not raise spurious points of order that will delay us. Please continue, Secretary.
Manamela KB,
Yes.
Maneli BM,
Yes.
Mandashe GS,
Yes.
Masemula ND,
Yes.
Mashatile SP,
Yes.
Masina MC,
Yes.
Masondo D,
Yes.
Maswanganyi MJ,
Yes.
Matabata CS,
Yes.
Matafa OM,
Yes.
Matale CC,
Yes.
Mbiyo IM,
Yes.
Mchunu ES,
Yes.
Mchunu TVB,
Yes.
Math N,
Yes.
Mqina PS, Mqina PS, Mkweba T,
Yes.
Mhaule MR,
Yes.
Mhlauli NB,
Yes.
Mkhize ZL,
Yes.
Mkutu L,
Yes.
Mulotsani ML,
Yes.
Mganga Kabache LA,
Yes.
Mudise Mcha M,
Yes.
Mwela MS,
Yes.
Mufokeng ML,
Yes.
Mohai SJ,
Yes.
Mukwena JL,
Yes.
Muraka AT,
Yes.
Murolong IK,
Yes.
Musikatsi S,
Yes.
Mutaung NE,
Yes.
Mutekha MA,
Yes.
Mutswaledi PA,
Yes.
Mkhaha M,
Yes.
Mtolo NE,
Yes.
Munyayi TB,
Yes.
Mutambi AF,
Yes.
Mvana NQ,
Yes.
Malumango RS, Malumango LS,
Anokwaza.
absent. Ndabeni Abrams ST,
Yes.
Ndalani NA,
Yes.
Ndamase P,
Yes.
Ndamase P,
Yes. Yes.
Nilmay HE,
Yes.
Nel AC,
Yes.
Nematsinga Chabalala J.
Yebo, yes.
Nkabani NP.
Yes.
Nkopani NS.
Yes.
Nkosi NE.
Yebo, yes.
Nkosi VA.
Yes.
Nkosi VA.
Yes.
Nonsele M.
Yes.
Ngola X.
Yes.
Nchalinchali LL.
Yes.
Nchaveni KPS.
Yes.
Ntuli M.
Yes.
Nzimande BE.
Yes.
Nzuza NS.
Yes.
Phahla
Yes.
J.
Yes.
Phiri CM.
Adumela ndiyatenda niyapfumela.
Polwani MB.
Yes, kuyadumela.
Plakis WTD.
Yes.
Pule DD. Pule DD.
Yes.
Ramaila KS.
Kuyadumela.
Ramukhupa ML.
Yes.
Ramukhupa KD.
Yes.
In community of property.
Ramulobeng KA.
Yes.
Sangoni KLN.
Yes.
Sapo L.
Yes.
Siabi AM.
Yes.
Siete MO.
Yes.
Sikiti M.
Yes.
Sikwati SC.
Yes.
Silamulela SD.
Yes.
Sine MM.
Yes.
Shabangu FL.
Yes.
Shiviti TG.
Yes.
Sibia NM.
Yes.
Simelane TP.
Yes.
Siweya RT.
Yes.
Skosana GJ.
Yes.
Sokanyile T.
Yes.
Sokopo MM.
Yes.
Can you please raise your voice?
Sokopo MM.
Yebo. Yes.
Sompa Masiu NS.
Kuyadumela.
Soju MM.
Yes.
Subrathi SI.
Yes.
Swat B. Swat B. Tau MPF.
Yes.
Tikana Kotiwe W.
Yes.
Klong KC.
Yes.
Tolashe NG.
Yes.
Todetsi NT.
Yes.
Abanchaba PP.
Ngiyavuma.
Xhego ST.
Yes.
Zikalala S.
Yes.
Abrahams ALA.
Voting against.
Alexander WR.
Voting against.
Atkinson PG.
Voting against.
Ocamp WAS.
Voting against.
Bahrain M.
Voting against?
Bapti Evie. Bapti Evie. Bason LJ.
No.
Bateman AG.
No.
Bath EM.
Voting against?
Bergman D.
No.
Bodlani TK.
No.
Ballman NJ.
No.
Breitenbach G.
Voting against?
Beck MJ.
No.
Cameroon I.
No.
Chance WRT.
No.
Chetty M.
No.
Christians DC.
No.
Christy KA.
No.
Clark MO.
No.
Cuthbert MJ.
Voting against?
D Block Van Seltinger AD.
No.
De Villiers JN.
No.
Engelbrecht J.
No.
Essak F. George DT.
No.
Okay.
Correct.
Essak
Sorry, the mic wasn't working.
No.
George DT.
No.
Gondwe MM.
Voting against?
Graham Ray SJ.
No.
Kwahube S.
No.
Harting C.
No.
Horn W.
No.
Hansinger CHH.
No.
Ishmael H.
I vote against?
Jacobs LC.
No.
Jordan C.
No.
Khobisa Ngaba K.
No.
Khachau KL.
Chair, I vote against.
Kanyile TA.
I vote against.
Klopper DD.
No.
Kola D.
No.
Creer HCC.
No.
Lawaskachni C.
Vote against?
Leroux KWD.
Vote against?
Linde E.
Vote against?
Lorima JRB.
No.
Lotrit A.
No.
Mabena TB.
No.
McPherson DW.
No.
Madigizela BS.
No.
Malatsi MS.
Voting no.
Marai EJ.
No.
Masango BS. Masango BS.
No.
Maseko LM.
No.
Matsoni NWA.
No.
Mbiko F.
I'm voting against.
Meglua JJ.
No.
Meglua JJ.
No.
Mdluli NM.
No.
Mihalakis G.
No.
Mileham KJ.
Voting against?
Moore SJ.
Voting against?
MPTL.
No.
Maibach NG.
No.
Nana ME.
No.
Notata BB.
No.
Peach WD.
Voting against?
Pool G.
No.
J. Potgieter LR.
Voting against?
Powell EL.
No.
Ramungalo TR.
No.
Ruos AC.
No.
Sarupen AN.
No.
Schikaling L.
No.
Schreiber LA.
No.
Siklulo JS.
I vote no.
Shelembe ML.
No.
Singh S.
No.
Sitole RJ.
I vote against, Chair.
Smith CFB.
No.
Smith R.
No.
Spies ERJ.
No.
Steenhuisen JH.
No.
Van der Waald D.
No.
Van Sale AM.
No.
Vilagazi SG.
No.
Wakelin KH.
No.
Whitfield AG.
No.
Zondi S.
Voting against?
Abada ZS.
No.
Douglas WM.
No.
Gama SI.
Absolutely not.
Gamede TI.
No. Asithengisi.
Gasa MM.
No.
No.
Gasa NM.
No.
Gwabaza NB.
No.
Hlophe MJ. Absent. Okay. Kobane GE.
No.
Kubeka TTS.
No.
Madlala EK.
No.
Madlala KB.
It's a no.
Mafahane MC.
It's a no.
Makubele C.
No.
Malinga JS.
No.
Manyi M.
No.
That's
Matsa FS. Matsa FS. Is it absent? Okay.
No.
Order, honorable members.
Is it Mbata or what?
MATSA. Matsa.
No, then it's Mbata.
We're still coming to Mbata. Matutu MJ.
No.
Mbata MS.
No.
Mbele HH.
No.
Mkunu G.
No.
Mjadu TS.
No.
Mkize SP.
No.
Mgadi PP.
Tabo.
Mgitama JA.
It's a no.
Molefe MKB.
No.
Montana TL,
No.
Moodley SR,
No.
Motubatse MP,
No.
Msezane MP,
Asoze.
Mthethwa ZE,
Lutho.
Mchweni NA,
No.
Muhammad MBB,
No.
Mwali SG.
No.
Nchabeleng A,
To VAT increase, no.
Ndlela N. Absent. Ndlela N. Absent. Ngubani JS.
Never.
Nomvalo S.
No.
Nchaba D.
No.
Ntsingila EM.
No.
Numalo RNI.
Lutho nani.
Ready VG.
No.
Hwekana M.
No.
Silepe LD.
Cha andizi.
Chongwe CV.
No.
Skosana DM.
No.
Taibosh G.
Yeah.
Temba AT.
No.
Van Rooyen DDD.
Ha ke dumele.
Zuma Sambudla D. Zuma Sambudla D.
In the spirit of Mama Winnie, no.
Blose MB,
Ayisiyanqaba speaker.
Diale BK,
No.
Dlamini MM,
No.
Dlamini M,
No.
Qilishe S,
No.
Kaula MS, Kaula MS,
Cha.
Komane LM,
No.
Litlape MS,
No.
Lonzi S,
No.
Mailola PR,
No.
Malema JS,
No.
Managa L,
No.
Mawotwe OMC,
Voting against?
Marey P,
No.
Mashabela NR,
No.
Matulelwa B,
No.
Matthias L,
No.
Matiase NS,
No.
Matiwane C,
Aye.
Mentenkuna NV,
No.
Mhlongo NM,
Cha omkhulu.
Mkalipi HO,
No.
Mkondo CN,
No.
Mukhale TP,
No.
Muhlala MR,
I'm voting against.
Mukwili TJ,
Nyakiagana.
Muntwedi MK,
No.
Mutwedi MK,
No.
Mthethwa E,
No.
Nihouse CG,
Near.
Noluchungu NJ,
No.
Ntlangwini EN,
Near.
Pambo V,
No.
Paulson, MN.
No.
Shikwambana, M.
No.
Tafeni, N.
No.
Tambo, S.
No.
Tembekwayo, SS.
No.
Tito, LF.
No.
Buthelezi, EM.
Yes.
Buthelezi, NZ.
Yes.
Ebekhulu, RN.
Yes.
Khadebe, NM.
Yes.
Hlabisa, VF.
Yes.
Hlengwa, M.
Yes.
Langa, TM.
Yes.
Luthuli, BN.
Yes.
Machi, BE.
Yes.
Majozi, Z.
Yes.
Mhlongo, NH.
Yes.
Nwango, MA.
Yebo.
Ngobo, SL.
Yes.
Singh, N. Singh, N. Sithole, KP.
Yes.
Van der Merwe, LL.
Ja.
Zondo, SS. Zondo, SS.
Absent. Daniels, MV.
Yes.
Freeman, E.
Yes.
Matoba, ML.
Yes.
Mackenzie, G.
Yes.
Peterson, JS.
Yes.
Rocky, FS.
Yes.
Souls, A.
Yes.
Tachodin, R.
Absent.
Van Veek, SHM.
Yes.
Boshoff, WJ.
Near.
Dana, H.
Near.
Groenewald, PJ. Groenewald, PJ.
Near.
Mulder, CP. Mulder, CP. Absent. Okay. Van Staden, PA.
Near.
Vessels, WW.
Near.
Beasley, AD.
Yes.
James, DE.
Yes.
Kobe, MP.
Yes.
Letlape, TKS.
Yes.
Ngobeni, LM.
Yes.
Trollip, RAP.
Yes.
Meshwa, KRJ.
No.
Swart, SN.
No.
Thring, WM.
No.
Holomisa, BH.
Yes.
Kwankwa, NLS.
Yeah.
Notenja, CT.
Yes.
Ghana, SM.
Yes.
Zibi, SS.
Yes.
Hlazo Webster, NL.
Yes.
Maimani, MA.
Yes.
Mahau, TL.
No.
Zungula, V.
Zungula. No.
Hendricks, MGE.
Yes.
Sally, S.
Yes.
Adams, F. Adams, F. Absent. Frenchman, S. Absent. Nyonzo,
M.
Yes.
Mahlatsi LW.
No.
Delil P.
Yes.
Honourable members, as I indicated earlier, members who remain present but could not when called indicate their vote may now raise their hands, if there are any, after which I will recognize them to indicate the vote. Are there any who did not vote? None. Thank you, honourable members. The voting session is now closed.
Told you when he was there, so I thought you took it. Where are they? Are they not there? Oh, maybe they might. Today, strict diet. Oh, we are on diet. We did days and it's so. Yes, yes. Waza.
Honourable members, the plenary is in session, so don't go too far away from where you are supposed to sit. I will announce the outcome of the division as soon as it has been checked by the Secretary to the National Assembly.
Zeningoyiki langongo. Basolimbe kumthetho.
Order, honorable members, order. Honorable members, will you take up your allocated seats? Honorable members, the outcome of the division is as follows. There were no abstentions, 182 voted against, and 194 voted in favor. Order, honorable members. Order, honorable members. Honorable member. Honorable member. Honorable DC. Honorable members. Order. Order, honorable members. Order, honorable members. Honorable members, take up your seats. Honorable members, take up your seats. Order. Order, honorable members. Honorable members, the question that the 2025 fiscal framework and revenue proposals and the report of the Standing Committee on Finance is thus adopted. Order, honorable members. Order, honorable members. The secretary will read the last order of the day. Order, honorable members. Order.
Debate on Human Rights Day, deepening a culture of social justice and human rights.
I now recognize the first speaker, who is the Honorable Molatsani. The Honorable Molatsani. Order, honorable members. Order, honorable members, take up your seats. Order, honorable members. Whose microphone is on? Members of the ANC, will you take up your seats? Honorable Deputy Chief Whip of the ANC, will you assist us so that we can proceed with our proceedings? Honorable Molatsani, Honorable Molatsani, Honorable Molatsani, take your seat, please. Honorable members, take up your seats. I now recognize the Honorable Molatsani.
Thank you, Chairperson, and good afternoon, honorable members. Today, we gather to commemorate Human Rights Day, a day that carries profound historical significance in our nation's journey towards justice and dignity for all. We remember March 21st, 1960, when peaceful protesters in Sharpeville stood defiant against the oppressive pass laws, only to be met with violence. Their sacrifice ignited a fire that burned through the darkness of apartheid, gifting us the freedom we cherish today. But as we honor the past, we must ask ourselves, how do we continue to uphold human rights in our daily lives? The answer lies in the universal power of sports, arts, and culture. These three anchors are forces that break barriers, unite us, and amplify the voices of the unheard. For decades, sports have been catalyst for unity. In 1995, Nelson Mandela donned the Springbok jersey during the Rugby World Cup, transforming a symbol of division into one reconciliation. Today, Siya Kolisi, the first black captain of the Springbok and a leader forged through adversity, commands our national team with unwavering pride, proving that true greatness transcends above all circumstances. In 2010, the FIFA World Cup united a once divided nation in celebration. Sports teaches fairness, teamwork, respect, and perseverance, values that mirror the very essence of human rights. They remind us that victory is not for the individual, but for the collective. Sports does more than unite. It heals the broken communities in a way that no one can ever comprehend. By investing in community sports infrastructure and program, we give young people alternative to the scourge of drugs and substance abuse. When a child kicks a ball or joins a team, they find purpose, discipline, and a hope, a shield against despair. Sports also challenges toxic norms, fostering respect and equality to combat social ills such as gender-based violence. Since 1994, we have seen a revolution in women's participation in sports. Olympic champions like Penny Haynes, Caster Semenya, Tatiana Schoonmaker have not only made history but shattered ceilings. Their victories are a testament to the power of inclusion. We applaud the leadership of Cricket South Africa for being the first federation in South Africa to professionalize women's cricket, as well as the Premier Soccer League for embracing female teams, proving that the field belongs to everyone. to pioneers like Ria Ledwaba, Natasha Titlas, and now Jessica Mutaung, women who fight for equity in boardrooms and on pitches. We see you. Your courage lights the path for future. Honorable Chair, our culture defines who we are. From the stirring melodies of Mama Miriam Makeba, Mama Letambuli, Ntate Kaifa Semenya, Brahuma Sikela, to the quieter beats of Tebe, TKZ, Mendoza, and Trompis, to the spiritual harmonies of Kabza the Small, Babalwa M, Something Soweto, to the Afro-tech rhythm of Black Coffee, DJ Simza, and a Free State-born international Afro-tech producers, Kasango Ben Shapa and Zulu Makeba. Our artistry is a testament to resilience and joy. A very special mention to our Tsonga princess, Shoma Josi. We honor storytellers whose work in theater and activism wove the struggle of our people into fabrics of global consciousness. Our virtual arts commands global respect. Dr. Esther Mahlangu, the Ndebele legend, 10 village patents into world-renowned BMW art cars.
Can you kindly take your seat? Thank you. Honorable members, according to Rule 64, as much as we appreciate and we are together on the issue of our child, but we all know that members must firstly say that they would want to put up the placards. It is not allowed to just come into the house and put up placards. I have said it, that we understand, and we are all in this, but it is not allowed to have placards in the house when you have not requested to have the placards before. So can you kindly request that members of the EFF, you take down your placards before we proceed.
These ones have got no shame.
We
They are
all know the
politicizing
rules.
such a bad thing.
We all know the rules.
They've got no shame.
And we should then adhere to the rules. Can we please take down
They are
the placards?
politicizing it.
I saw Honorable Mikalakis, your hand was up.
How do you?
Thank you, House Chairperson. No, I'm covered. Thank you.
Thank you. Members, you are requested to please take down your placards.
Which rule is that, House Chair?
They are politicizing
I
such a
did read out
tragic
the
thing.
rule, and Honorable
You have no shame,
Mkalipi,
EFF.
Honorable Mkalipi, you don't do that. You can't just press your mic and speak without being recognized. You know that you must raise your hand first. Honorable Chief Whip of the EFF, Honorable Nolchung, can you please assist us with the placards? I think we all know the rules and we should adhere to them. As much as the matter, we know how sensitive it is, and we are together on that issue. Like, there is nothing that you are opposing what you have written on the placards. It's just a matter of procedure.
They are politicizing such a tragic thing. What a shame.
Thank you very much, Chair. We are not aware of the rule. Which rule is that?
Can you repeat? I didn't hear that.
I'm saying we were not aware of the rule. Which rule are you referring to? Because we are not aware of the rule. Please give us the rule.
Okay, let me read it out for you so that you understand. According to Rule 64E, members must at all times accord the presiding officers of the National Assembly and members due respect and conduct themselves with dignity and in accordance with the decorum of the House, and are required not to bring, number one, weapons of any kind, no dangerous or threatening objects or articles, no replicas of such into the chamber. Number 2, non-dangerous or non-threatening objects, articles, or placards into the chamber except with the prior approval of the speaker. So I've read it out. Can you kindly take down your placards?
They are politicizing a tragic thing. Wow.
Please,
Wow,
can you take down the placards? There's no
What a
discussion
shame.
about it. I've just read out a rule for you. It has been updated. Yes.
House Chair, please recognize me. My hand is up.
Honorable Mauta.
Yes. House Chair, I'm not sure which rule book are you reading from. I've got the rules of the National Assembly 9th edition. 9th edition. What you just read there is not here, Madam House Chair. It's not here. Edition 9 is not here.
That is
I can
why
ask the table staff to come and take this rule book and give it to you. And you read this. Because what you just read is not here, House Chair.
Honorable Mauto, I don't need your rules book to understand the rules. But all I am saying to you is that according to Rule 64E, which has been updated.
Can I read it for
and
you?
the
House
chief
Chair?
whip, no, your
No.
chief whip sits in the rules committee.
Yes.
And they did update these rules. So according to the updated rule, that section allows all for articles and also placards.
No.
So it was updated in the rules committee. So can you please speak to your chief whip? She might have an idea because I'm definitely sure that she sits in the chief whip's forum or in the rules committee. So that is why I even asked her to please assist in members taking down the placards.
On a point of order, House Chair. On a point of order, House Chair.
Honorable Tlangwini.
Thank you very much, House Chair. Chair, it's important when you read, you must read to comprehend. And what you have just read now, we are not in any violation because these placards doesn't pose any danger. That is what you have just read there. So please, when you are reading the rules, please read with comprehension so that you can also understand, because I don't think you clearly understanding what you have just read there. Mr. Kaso, please help the House Chair properly and guide her properly, because she is definitely misguided.
Honorable Tlangwini, I don't need any guidance and I can read properly.
This placard.
No, Honorable Tlangwini, I don't need any guidance and I have read the rule properly. Maybe it is your hearing problem that you have. But when I said it, I said non-dangerous or non-threatening objects. And
comprehension problem.
objects. So it doesn't even count on that one. I said and articles and also placards. So what you are telling me now is an issue of you understanding what I've just read to you.
You won't
I will take this matter.
problem.
It's fine. We will proceed. I will take this matter.
Withdraw it.
I will forward this matter to the Rules Committee and to the Speaker as well, so that this matter is discussed further and a decision is taken on this matter. I will now allow Honorable Mulotane to continue.
They are using a tragic event to politicize you.
There's nothing political here. Wanna keep quiet, man.
Honorable members, please, can you stop pressing your mics? Continue, Honorable Member.
Thank you, Chair. Nelson Makamu's Portraits of Hope graced Time magazine, while Ladu Mangokolos Makrosa designed Dazzle evoke Italia. To the famous Ricofi artist Enoch Mlangeni from Zamdela, who went from making coffee drawings in his parents' house to having solo exhibition in Belgium. This is our story. These creators are not just artists, they are architects of our heritage. to photographers, TC Maila and driver Striman. Very few can capture, document and reflect our culture and heritage the way you do. We see you and appreciate your work. Honorable Chair, African National Congress, as the longest liberation movement, has been at the forefront of human rights advocacy since 1912. We remember the 1943 African claims, which demanded equal rights and opportunity for all South Africans. The 1954 Women's Charter, championed by Federation of South African Women, further underscored the need to gender equality and social justice. After 30 years into our nation's democracy, the ANC affirmed its commitment to defending our democratic gains and addressing historical inequities through critical reforms such NHI, BELA, and the Expropriation Act. The resistance to these reforms by AfriForum and Solidarity must be challenged and condemned for what it is: a means of maintaining a status quo that structurally and systematically hinders people's access to land, education, and health. This disproportionately disadvantaging the majority in this country. We stare ahead towards realization of a united, non-racial, non-sexist, and prosperous country. We must recall that human rights are not passive. They demand action. Therefore, we must pledge to honor the legacy of our forebears and the great sacrifice they made for our nation. We must pledge to teach our children the real price of freedom, celebrate creativity, use art and sports to heal and unite, stand firm, speak out against injustice wherever it hides. The bloodshed in Sharpeville was not the end. It was the beginning. Let us honor it by building a future where every life is valued, every voice heard, every dream nurtured. We will continue to strive for a society that truly reflects the ideals of our Constitution, a society where all South Africans can live with dignity and equality. Democracy must prevail. Human rights must prevail. Amandla.
Thank you, Honorable Malinga. Honorable Malinga.
Somlomo ngaphambili amalungu eParliament wonke ahloniphekile. Sihlangene ngaphambili namhlanje ukukhumbula ukuzinikela kwalabo abalwela amalungelo abo ngomhla zingama-21 kuNdasa ngonyaka wenkulungwane namakhulu ayishagalolunye namashumi ayisithupha. Ngalolo suku ke uhulumeni wobandlululo lapha endaweni yaseSharpeville, lona ke nina njenge-GNU esenibethe ingube yodwa nawo, wadubula abantu bebalela imnyama ababengahlomile bengaphethe nto ngokuthi nje babalola amalungelo abo bethi sebekhathele ukuthathwa njengezihambi ezweni labo. Kwahlaselwa abantu baseSharpeville ngaphansi kohulumeni nobuholi buka Robert Sobukwe we-PAC. Ningizwe kahleke angisho i-PAC lele lembhedweni owodwa namhlanje ne-GNU.
Chair.
Lokhu kwavezela umhlaba.
Honorable Chair.
Honorable Malinga, can you kindly take your seat, please?
Benifuna ukukhumbuza lo mfo unxibe uniform yakwa Ackermans uba iPAC inye.
That's not a point of order. Please continue, Honorable Malinga.
Hayi sizoqasha uhambo oshaya amahlaya. Kwahlaselwa abantu baseSharpeville ngaphambi kokupholi buka Robert Sobuko ePAC lokho kwavezela umhlaba wonke isihluku esenziwa songahlonipha amalungelo abantu ukuthi namhlanje kuhulumeni weANC siyabona ukuthi ususu kubaleka kwalezi insuku ngokuqamba lolu suku ngabusha alibize ngokuthi usuku lamalungelo abantu. The MK Party does not mince its work. MK Party is led by one of the foremost activists in the fight for human rights and dignity. His Excellency President Gedle Ihlekisa Mhlanganyela Zuma. A man who endured 10 years of imprisonment on Robben Island, lived in real exile, and risked his life daily, not for personal gain, but for the freedom of our people. President Zuma represented the true face
We remember
of sacrifice in the fight for the human rights, unlike those who now occupy high offices but never truly walk the path of struggle.
We remember Kwezi.
Honorable members, no, you can't do that. Honorable Malinga, please can I assist you? Honorable members, when a member is debating on a podium, it can't be that you just open your mic without raising your hand. Can we please keep the decorum of the House? Continue, Honorable Maling.
Mawungangikholwa uye lapha eNamibia njengoba kade kugcotshwa upresident uyobona ukuthi makubiza umsholozi abaseNamibia abazini ngaye hayi phalaphala lesukume kwathula kwathi cwaka. Umbimbo lwenziwa yi-ANC ne-Democratic Alliance le endubile namhlanje akuwona umshado lo umkipito uqobo lwawo. Inhloso yawo uqeda isithunzi sabantu abamnyama abaqhubeka behlupheka nompofu abahlukunyezwa ungabe namathuba anele abawathola ngonyaka ka-1994. Lolu bumbano ke liyihlazo uyalazi igumuncu into enuka phuhlu njengeqanda lenjelwane. Iqembu le-MK Party lifuna ukukhumbuza abantu baseningizimu
Honorable
Afrika.
Malinga, can you please take a seat? There's Honorable Letsia.
No, thank you very much. Is the member aware that he's just voted with the DA that he's talking about?
No, Honorable Member. Honorable Malinga, please.
I think the speech is 2 weeks old.
No, Honorable Malinga, please take the podium. That is not a
It's an
point of order.
outdated speech.
Honorable Malinga, please continue.
When we GNU ne-DA njalo.
Iqembu lomkhonto wesizwe ke lifuna ukukhumbuza abantu baseningizimu Afrika ukuthi obani Democratic Alliance. I-Democratic Alliance umphotshozelwa igumuncu le-National Party eyaphekwa ngobandlululo. Umzali we-DA uTony Leon wayendodana kaJustice Rowan Leon owagweba intsha eyayilwela amalungelo abantu. Kwakungiyise kaTony Leon owathumela uAndrew Zondo owayeneminyaka eyishumi ey'ntanjeni zikaDilikajele. I-DA ke yiyona eneyimpande zayo ze-National Party eyayibusa ngesikhathi sobandlululo ayikaze iveze ukuzisola nokuhlanza ngezenzo zalabo abangaphambi kwayo. I-MK Party iyakhumbuza abaholi be-GNU ukuthi i-DA inuka phuhlu igazi ezandleni zayo. Umhlaba wethu wathathwa ngonyaka ka1652 ngesikhathi kufika uYan van Riebeeck nezihlobo zakhe kulelizwe. Kusukela ngaleso sikhathi akaze kube khona ukuthula ezweni lakithi. Umkhonto wesizwe party ufuna umhlaba ubuyele kubantu ngaphandle kwesinxephezelo ngoba nawo wathathwa ngaphandle kokunxeshezelwa kwabantu. MK Party ifuna amalungelo abantu bonke abahlukunyezwa ngaphansi kombuso wobandlululo abuyiselwe. Lokhu kusho ukuthi imindeni yabantu abangamashumi ayisithupha nesishagalolunye ababulawa eSharpeville kufanele bathole isinxephezelo esingaphezulu kuka2 million umuntu emunye. Ayikho into ebuhlungu njengokuphila ezweni elicebile kunawo wonke eAfrika kodwa abantu bayo belokhu bebhuqabhuqa ubuphofu. Igidi zabantu ezingama30 baseningizimu Afrika baphila ngaphansi kobupha nobuphofu. Abanye balala bengadlile kuyilapho abaholi beGNU bedla izambana likaBhondo. iANC eyayisophondweni lokulelwa amalungelo abantu ilahlekelwe ulayini namhlanje. Kunokushintsha impilo zabantu abacindezelwe, ishintsha insuku zomlando ukuze isuse ukubaluleka kwezwe nomlando walo. Mawukhumbula nje usuku lenkosi uShaka Zulu selenziwa usuku lamasiko. Usuku likaDingane selaba usuku lokubuyisana. Kanti nalo lolu lwaseSharpeville selaba usuku lwe-human rights. Mangabe swalelwa ngempela amalungelo abantu, umhlonishwe esimthandayo nesimthembayo ukhuzeni ugogodile kwezemfundo kodwa usosekela ingcuba ekhalamanzi kandlebe sikhanyilanga emini kabha uphendulwa inqelebane yabelungu iGNU.
Honorable Malinga, can you please take your seat? There's a hand. Yes, Honorable Member.
No, thank you so much, Chair. Is the member able to take a question? Does he really believe in what he's saying about his own leader? Because this can't be right.
Okay, Honorable Malinga, will you be able to take a question?
I will give you my WhatsApp number. You can WhatsApp me.
That's a no then. Continue, Honorable Member.
Chair.
Umbuzo ke ukuthi
Chair.
libasaba
Honorable Malinga. The hand of Honorable Deputy Minister Uzigalal.
Chair, may I request your protection that my name be not used by the very same people who have just voted with the DA.
Wena ku-GNU njalo. Wena Zikalala ku-GNU.
Honorable
Deputizing
Malinga,
a
please continue.
matriculant. We are worshipping a matriculant.
umbuzo ukuthi nibesabana belungu. Niyasabana masela antshontshizo lethu. Sikhuluma nje namhlanje izikole zakithi azinawo amanzi.
Kodwa
Ukubala
uvotela
ezimbalwa nje. Mawushona kwaZulu Natal esikhetha uxolo. Awekho amanzi. Ayikho indawo yendle. Mawushona evuka uyiphathe izingane zigcwele phakathi ziyimpethu zendlovu. Sithi nje njenge-MK Party amalume omuntu omnyama ayobuya mhlazane babuyelwa ongakwabo. Mhlazane babuyelwa umhlaba wabuyela ezandleni zabo. Umhlaba wabantu ke bakithi awubuyiselwe kubona ngaphandle kwenxephezelo. Kwaza mkhonto kwaza. Awuwe uhulumeni wamasela uwe. Awuwe uhulumeni wamasela uwe. Khwaza mkhonto khwaza. Sithi njengomkhonto wesizweke. Amalungelo abantu baseSharpeville akuzwakale kahle lokho. Selokhu balinyazwa uhulumeni obandlululo. Abakaze banxeshezele kuze kube manje.
Honorable Malinga, your time has expired.
Khwaza mkhonto khwaza.
Bye-bye.
Honorable Mo.
Chairperson, honourable members, fellow South Africans, today we rise in this House to mark Human Rights Day, a moment to reflect not only on our painful history, but also on the progress we've made in building a just and equitable society. Human Rights Day is not symbolic, it is a call to action. A reminder that the rights enshrined in our Constitution must be protected, advanced, and realized. Among these is the right to water. Section 27 of the Constitution guarantees that everyone has the right to have access to sufficient water, and the state must make reasonable legislative and other measures within its available resources to achieve the progressive realization of that right. But how can we speak of progressive realization when we are, in truth, experiencing a progressive collapse? The 2023 Blue Drop report shows that 277 water supply systems, 29% of all of the nation's assessed systems, are in a critical state. That's an increase of over 100 water supply systems in the last year, dropping into the critical category. The Green Drop report reveals that 64% of water treatment systems are in high or critical risk. This isn't just a service delivery issue, it is a human rights crisis. When communities go weeks without water, when sewage runs through the streets of our towns, and when water from the tap is too dangerous to drink, people are being denied their basic rights. Their right to dignity, to health, to education, and to a safe environment. This past week, the Water and Sanitation in Durban was convened to try and address this very crisis. Even there it became clear national government is having to step in because water services authorities across the country are failing. Municipalities are not maintaining infrastructure, not paying water boards, and not collecting revenue. And this failure is not random. It is the result of decades of mismanagement, cadre deployment, and political protectionism by the ANC. This House just passed the National Fiscal Framework, and let us not forget, it was passed without the support of the Democratic Alliance. The ANC, instead of working with its core partner in the Government of National Unity, the DA, chose instead to align with Action SA to raise VAT and ignore our proposals that would have grown the economy and created jobs. And why did the DA withhold our support? Because we are fighting for fiscal discipline, spending reform, and sustainable budgeting. We want government to reduce wasteful expenditure, shrink the bloated wage bill, and allocate more resources to frontline services like water, sanitation, education, and health. We are fighting to rescue our economy from a debt trap that threatens not only our growth, but our very democracy. And while the ANC talks about rights, it actively undermines them by bankrupting municipalities, collapsing basic services, and now threatening to do the same to national government finances. We are seeing a mirror effect, colleagues. At a municipal level, ANC-run towns are failing to deliver water and basic services. At a provincial level, the same dysfunction is replicated in health, education, and housing. And now at a national level, the ANC is turning away from the path of responsibility and choosing instead the path of patronage politics and reckless popularism. Fellow South Africans, if you want to know why your municipality can't fix broken pipes, why your clinic doesn't have clean water, and why your toilet can't flush, it is because the ANC has spent the last 3 decades building a state not on merit, but on political loyalty.
Honorable Moore, can you please kindly take your seat? Honorable member from the EFF, what you are doing is not allowed in the house, and you know. You can't take photos inside the house. It is not allowed. And I will not repeat it again. Continue, Honorable.
Honorable Speaker, let me be clear. The right to water is not just about access, it is about governance. When water is lost through leaks, when wastewater contaminates rivers, when infrastructure decays because tenders are given to friends and not experts, people suffer. And that suffering is not accidental. It is the direct result of failed governance. This is a government that has chosen its own political survival over the survival of its people. It has chosen backroom deals over transparent budgeting. It has chosen alliances of convenience over coalitions of principle. But there is a different path, fellow South Africans, a path grounded in constitutionalism, fiscal discipline, good governance, and delivery. The DA has already shown in municipalities where we govern across the country that this is possible. In the Western Cape, 92% of drinking water systems meet national standards, and here in Cape Town, they survived the worst drought in their history by working with communities, experts, and civil society without collapsing. We have put forward budget reform proposals, cost-cutting measures, and infrastructure investment plans that could rebuild this country, but they will require political will. And right now that political will is being traded away in order to satisfy the ANC's short-term coalition arithmetic. So on this Human Rights Day, let us not be fooled by speeches that celebrate our Constitution while undermining it in practice. Let us not praise the right to water while watching taps run dry.
Can you kindly take your seat? There's a point of order. Yes, Honorable Member.
Honorable Chair, can the honorable member take a question? He's talking about Western Cape. Which communities is he referring to? In Strasbourg, in Kaeli,
Okay.
in Kanga, in his argument of human rights?
Honorable Member, can you take a question?
No, Chairperson, this one's wasting our time.
Proceed,
So
Honorable
on this
Member.
Human Rights Day, let us not be fooled by speeches that celebrate our Constitution while undermining it in practice. Let us not praise the right to water while watching it dry up. Let us not talk of dignity while communities live in sewage. The DA will continue to fight for a South Africa where rights are not aspirational but real, where budgets work for the people, where municipalities are functional, and where government is honest. Because, South Africans, the greatest honor we can pay to the legacy of Human Rights Day is not rhetoric, it is reform. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Mushala.
Chairperson, the day historical revisionism is forcing us to celebrate as Human Rights Day is in fact a day of commemoration of murder of black people by an entitled bunch of settlers in this country. It was on the 21st of March in 1960 when 69 African people were killed in cold blood and over 180 injured by an unrepentant racist white minority regime. The only sin these African people committed on African soil was to be black and to demand that their humanity as African people be respected, that they must not be required to carry dome passes in the land of their own birth, that they must not be treated like lepers by a foreign invader in Africa. When Robert Sugar made the call for African people to resist the insidious oppression and exploitation of African people by the apartheid regime, he called on the African people to take their liberation into their own hands because they had no one else by themselves. He drew the line between the people and the enemy, and he emphasized that there was nothing of common interest between the people and their oppressors. He famously said, they are fighting to entrench an outworn, anachronistic, vile system of oppression. We represent progress. They represent decadence. We represent fresh fragments of flowers in bloom. They represent the rancid smell of decaying vegetation. We have the whole country or world on our side. We have history on our side. We will win. The racist regime which provided comfort for the settler minority responded the only way Europeans know how, by mowing innocent African people to death. Today, the modus operandi of racists hasn't changed. They still own all land, they still own all minerals, control the economy, continue subjecting black people to subhuman treatment. They refuse all attempt to recognize the humanity of African people. They oppose even timid legislative reforms such as the BELA, the NHI, and Toothless Expropriation Act. They do this and are emboldened to do this because they are horrified by any notion of equality between themselves as settler group and African people. The settler minority is as emboldened as it is because they know that the nationalist bourgeoisie running the country has no ability to reconfigure the country in a way that would take power away from settlers and affirm natives as full human. It is for this reason that this settler minority is now sharing power with the nationalist bourgeoisie so that the settler can leash on the nationalist bourgeoisie very tight. While this senseless dance between the ANC and the DA goes on, African people's humanity is even in a more precarious state. Chairperson, the fight of human rights in this country has never ended. It continues every day in every courtroom where justice is sold to the highest bidder, in every police station where cases of gender-based violence are ignored, in every parliament session where those who claim to lead the people betray them to political expediency. Omotoso saga is a prime example of how the ANC-DA coalition government and its compromised national prosecuting authority have failed the victims of gender-based violence. It is a disgrace that in a country where femicide is a pandemic, the NPA cannot successfully prosecute a high-profile case, not because there is no evidence, but because of incompetence. Children as young as 7 years, such as Twete, are raped and no one is ever held accountable. There are over 11,000 cases of rape every single quarter in this country. The murder rate is worse than that in war-torn areas, with over 40,000 people killed every year in this country. Over 40% of our people are unemployed, and over 50% of young people looking for work and are unable to find work. Over 1 million of households are living in shacks in this country. country and have no one else to call home. This is the state of human rights violation still perpetrated on Africans 31 years into democracy. This is what the DA AfriForum and their funders and A+ in America want to continue in this country. It is for this reason that they are prepared to do all in their power to prevent the EFF forever being government. They do this because they know that the EFF will take land and give it back to the dispossessed thieves. They know that only the EFF has the necessary wherewithal to nationalize the mind and strategic sectors of economy to ensure that this benefit the majority of our people, not just a tiny fractions of the racist settler community. They know that it is only the EFF that will guarantee universal access to quality healthcare, universal access to quality education from primary to the university level. It is only the EFF that would root out the deeply entrenched corrupt tentacles, entangles the ANC with the interest of the white racist capital. The EFF are the only true heirs to the bold and uncompromising legacy of
Honorable
Robert
Mushala,
It will only
your
be
time has
under the
expired.
EFF government that African people will have their rightful heirs. Justice for
Honorable Mushala,
Kwekwe. We
your time
demand
has expired.
justice for Kwekwe. We are demanding justice.
Honorable Hadebe.
House Chairperson, on the 21st of March, our country commemorated Human Rights Day, a day that holds deep significance in our nation's history. It reminds us of the sacrifices made to pursue justice, freedom, and dignity. Values enshrined in our Constitution, but they remain under threat due to ongoing injustices. As the Inkatha Freedom Party, we stand firm in our commitment to defending human rights, not just as a symbolic promise, but as a practical mission that must translate into action. While we celebrate the progress made, we cannot ignore the deep inequalities that persist. Human rights lose their meaning in a country where millions remain unemployed, where corruption steals from the poor, where gender-based violence is rampant, and where safety is a privilege rather than a right. These injustices betray the principles of Human Rights Day and dishonor those who sacrificed their lives for our freedom. For 5 decades, the IFP has been at the forefront of the fight for justice, democracy, and equality in South Africa. Since its founding in 1975, by Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi, we have consistently championed human rights, advocating for the protection of civil liberties, economic empowerment, and accountable governance. We played a pivotal role in South Africa's transition to democracy, engaging in negotiations that shaped our constitution while ensuring that the voices of marginalized communities were heard. The IFP also formed a significant part of the drafting process of the Bill of Rights within our constitution. Our party has remained steadfast in opposing corruption, standing for good governance, and pushing for policies that uplift the most vulnerable members of our society. As the IFP marks 50 years of service, yes, 50 years, not 1 year, we reaffirm our commitment to building a South Africa where human rights are not theoretical but are upheld in everyday life. Our legacy is one of resilience, and our future remains dedicated to ensuring that the promises of democracy are fulfilled for all citizens.
Honorable Hatebe, can you please take a seat? There's a hand. I can't see, but there's a hand. Yes, continue, Honorable Member.
Nhlonishwa hloniphekile. Yizwa ubaba Hadebe la ekhuluma ngenkatha yenkululeko. Yebo kwakunjalo. Kodwa kungididayo ungadideki kwakuyinkatha
Honorable Member, that is not a point of order. Honorable Member, Honorable Member, bonke omasipala babo baphuza nenkonzo. Honorable Member,
nengulube.
Honorable member.
Abantu. Angazi ukuthi yiphi le
Honorable member from the MK. Honorable member from the MK.
Ngifuna hlukanise.
Can you please switch off your mic? Switch off your mic.
Ngoba ngazi inkululeko yabuthelela.
Switch off your mic.
Khuluma ngesizulu.
Switch off her mic.
Angazi usho yiphi inkululeko kadebe.
Honorable member. Honorable Manye. Honorable Manye. Honorable Manye. Please switch off your mic.
Ngikhuluma izulu ongangizwa.
Honorable Manye. I have been calling you and I do know that you've been hearing me. An honorable member raised her hand. I recognized the hand thinking that it's a point of order. And she was now making a statement and I told her that she's out of order, but she continued. Honorable member.
Now can I assist you, Chair?
Honorable member. Honorable member.
Can I assist you, Chair?
Honorable member. Honorable member, if you don't want to listen to what I'm saying.
Please khuluma ngesizulu.
Okay.
Khuluma ngesizulu.
Mhlonishwa. 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 Akwenziwa angikaze ngithi khuluma, angizange ngithi khuluma. Akwenziwa lokho okwenzayo khona manje. Awuyenzi leyo nto oyenzayo. And what intention ukuthi akawuzwa ayikho, because manje ngimrecognize ngesilungu, wawuzwa ngesilungu ukuthi ngiyamrecognize. Mama ungayenzi leyo nto futhi ngoba mawuyenza futhi ngizocela ukuthi ushiye la endlini. You don't do that. Honorable Hadebe, continue.
As the IFP, we reaffirm our commitment to protecting and advancing human rights through action, not empty promises. It is with this in mind that we especially call for stronger protection of our women and children through harsher penalties for gender-based violence and improved community safety. Human Rights Day is not just a commemoration, it is a call to action. It is a reminder that rights are not given, they must be defended. We will continue to fight for a South Africa where dignity, equality, and justice are more than ideals. They are a reality for every citizen. As the IFP celebrate 50 years of commitment to human rights, let us honor the past by shaping a better future. Let us work together to build a country where human rights are not selective but universal, where freedom is not conditional but absolute. Honorable House Chairperson, I conclude by giving an advice to my colleague that if you feel that you can't contain or control your emotion, stay away from the microphone. Otherwise, you are going to say things that you will regret. People that have elected us to come to this house are expecting us to represent them, not to rant. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Honorable South.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Greetings in the wonderful name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Moenke ahuniki. Kendrick Lamar, a popular American musician, in his Super Bowl performance went viral when he did his hit entitled "They Are Not Like Us." The subliminal messaging resonated mostly with African Americans because it seemed like Lamar was addressing the elephant in the room, saying that the former slave masters who infringed upon the human rights of the former slaves are not like us. But surprisingly, the descendants of the former slave masters danced along to the tune in agreement, and the question is why? Because every system of oppression and slavery is built upon and kept alive by the ideology that they are not like us. For as long as whites say of blacks, they are not like us, and blacks say of whites, they are not like us, then we will have a Bill of Rights with a system that is still not right. We say they are like us. When the People's Assembly, made up of black, white, colored, and Indian, gathered in Kliptown to sign the Freedom Charter, it was because whites and blacks said of each other, they are like us. Anton Franz fought off apartheid police, and when they threatened to kill him, which they did, he screamed, "Kohaume," because when he, as a 20-year-old colored African, looked at his black brothers and sisters, he said, they are like us.
Honorable Souls,
When our Khoi
Honorable
son,
Souls, just take your seat for a moment. I have a hand to my left. Honorable Member.
Thank you, Chair. Honorable Souls, can you take a question?
Honorable Souls, are you prepared to take a question? Thanks. Honorable Souls is not prepared. Please proceed.
when our Khoisan forefathers welcomed Portuguese, Dutch, and British settlers for a temporary stay, and they forcefully made it permanent, it was because they believed that they are like us. If we are going to deepen social justice and human rights, we as South Africans will have to say, I am you, and that is Ubuntu. When we see Rassi leading the Bokke to represent our national unity globally, we must say that is us. When we see KZN Provincial Commissioner Lieutenant General Mkwanazi win his fight against crime, we must all say that is us. When we see Minister Mackenzie stand for the inclusion of all races in DSEC, we must say that is us. We will only deepen social justice and human rights when those who are corrupt amongst us, whether white, black, colored, or Indian, of them we must all say they are not like us. Those amongst us who loots, they are not like us. Those amongst all of us who are racist, they are not like us. Those amongst us who kidnaps our children like Jocelyn Smith and rapes them like Kwekwe, they are not like us. Those amongst us in the GNU who continuously returns to their default colonialist setting of arrogance, who pretends to fight for all South Africans against the VAT increase, but when asked for alternatives, they speak only of Cape Town and Richards Bay ports devolution, exposing that they are only concerned about what they consider their country, Cape Town, and definitely not the poor parts of it like Mitchell's Plain and Langa. Of them only we must say they are not like us. And Federan, we don't have a bill of black rights, colored rights, Indian or white rights. We have a bill of human rights. We won't take 4 acres and a mule. We shall pay market value for it and share the rest fairly until we are all owners. We are all South African. We are all Africans in particular. Awelani, Ayo, Salute Massacre.
Honorable van Staden.
Geachte voorzitter, mensenregte is 'n dag waarop die regte vir mense gedenk word, en dit word omskryf as die basiese regte en vryhede waarop alle mense geregtig is, wat dikwels geag word as sou dit die reg tot lewe en vryheid, vryheid van denking en uitdrukking en gelykheid voor die reg insluit. In die Suid-Afrikaanse grondwet is Suid-Afrikaners se regte gewaarborg deur middel van die handves van regte, en hierdie handves van regte is volgens die grondwet die hoeksteen van demokrasie in Suid-Afrika, en dit verskans die regte van alle mense in ons land, en dit bevestig die demokratiese waardes van menswaardigheid, gelykheid en vryheid. The Bill of Rights guarantees us variety, equality, human dignity, life freedom, environment, property, housing, healthcare, food, water, the rights of children, education, and the list goes on. In March of this year, the South African Institute of Race Relations published on their website that South Africa has adopted 319 racial acts since 1910, 117 racial acts of parliament, have been adopted since 1994, whereas 142 racial acts of parliament are still operative today. Ons moet ook besef dat die verdieping van die kultuur van menseregte beteken dat die kultuur en verstaan van menseregte uitgebrei moet word. Vir te lank al val die klem net eksklusief op individuele menseregte. En mense is nie net maar individue nie, maar hulle kom by een groepe of gemeenskappe. En sulke groepe en gemeenskappe het ook regte wat tuis hoort onder die oorkoepelende term van menseregte. Juist daarom moet menseregte ook in Suid-Afrika uitgebrei word om die regte van gemeenskappe en groepe te erken. Dit is die ware toets van demokrasie, wat nie net neerkom op 'n een mens, een stem nie, want dit lei tot 'n renie van die meerderheid. Moderne demokrasie word erken aan die beskerming en akkommodering wat aan minderhede en groepe gebied word. So we need to ask each other the following question. What is there to celebrate on Human Rights Day? How can we as a nation celebrate Human Rights Day when 28 million of our people are depending on state grants and when people sleep on the streets? If we cannot provide the basic healthcare services to our citizens and human rights violations are taking place in our public hospitals, if millions of South Africans do not have housing, water, a clean environment and basic infrastructure, with race-based laws on our statute book like affirmative action and broad-based black economic empowerment, with laws like expropriation without compensation, BELA, and for national health insurance, when there is no law and order, when children do not have access to basic education and those who do still have to use pit toilets at their schools and without books and learning material, when our economic progress is hampered by the construction mafia, when our children die in hospitals due to food poisoning, when our citizens fears for their safety because of our borders that are open to anyone who can come here and do whatever they want to do, when people across the country's waters are contaminated with sewage, when our children are abducted due to child trafficking, when our farmers and farm workers are being attacked and murdered and slaughtered in huge numbers, when the ANC is supporting international terrorist organizations, when our troops are sent to the DRC without any help and assistance. How can we celebrate this day when our policemen and women are killed? Die eenvoudige antwoord is dat daar absoluut niks is om te vier nie. Ons as wetgewers is staan besig om alle waarborge en regte wat in ons grondwet verskans is gruweloslik te verbreek en te skend, en dit veroorsaak dat ons tans die muisond geword het in die oë van die internasionale gemeenskap. Wat 'n absolute skande. Die tyd het aangebreek om Suid-Afrika eerste te plaas en weg te doen met rasgedrewe ANC-ideologie. Ek dank u.
Honorable Beasley.
Speaker, the only way we're going to deepen a culture of social justice and human rights in our country is through a revolution. Not a violent revolution, but rather a moral revolution. Currently, South Africa is plagued with numerous and devastating social injustices and human rights violations. Two of the most pervasive and harmful social injustices and human rights abuse that I want to touch on are that of unemployment and hunger. I'm going to give two examples that have had a huge impact on me to illustrate the injustices of these two human rights abuses. Firstly, unemployment. A while back, I was volunteering for an organization called the Red Light Anti-Human Trafficking Organization. One night when we were ministering to sex workers, I met a young woman who was drinking box wine through a straw to numb her body and mind for what lay ahead for her that night. What struck me was not that she was young, or that she was numbing her body, or that she could be my daughter, but rather she did not want to be there. Through unemployment, she was trapped in economic slavery and was forced to sell her body. Unemployment was physically, mentally, and emotionally destroying her. Martin Luther King Jr. refers to unemployment as psychological murder, as it deprives a person of their dreams, their agencies, their hopes, and a chance to live a life of purpose. In our country, we have over 8 million people murdered this way. This includes 46% of all our youth. Unemployment in our country is a human rights crisis. On hunger, during the school holidays, I was assisting at a community feeding scheme that fed people from a particularly poor community. As it was school holidays, many children came for a meal since they were not receiving a meal at school. For many children, it was the only meal of the day. One child, after receiving his food, accidentally dropped his food on the floor. The shock and horror on his face as he had thought he had lost his only meal of the day was painful to witness. Hunger has been described as a slow violence. More than 50% of households are going to bed hungry tonight. More than 50% of households are subject to slow violence. Hunger in our country is a human rights crisis. The only way we're going to address the unemployment and hunger crisis, as well as other social injustices and human rights violations plaguing our beautiful country, is if there's a moral revolution. Speaker, that moral revolution must start with Parliament. People must be put first. People must be prioritized before party politics and egos. As Martin Luther King Jr. says, the time is always right to do what is right. It is time for Parliament to do what is right. And Speaker, as I conclude, the most trended word today is Action SA. I'm so proud to be part of a non-racial party that puts people first, rather than another political party that continues to drive a fear narrative, divides a nation, and believes in white supremacy. I come from a mixed colored family, and it is time for us to unite and rather than be divided. I thank you, Chair.
Honourable String.
Honourable House Chairperson, as we consider this debate on human rights, allow me to dispel the lie that South Africa is a secular state. At the drafting of our constitution in 1996, the ACDP president fought against SA being a secular democracy. We won this battle when some 50,000 Christians marched to Parliament supporting the ACDP's position, resulting in no mention of the word secular in our constitution. Rather, in the preamble we have, may God bless our people, Nkosi Sikelele i-Afrika. The ACDP was not silent then, and we will not be silent now. We condemn in the strongest terms the violation of the human rights of the Christian and Alawite communities in Syria by the new government forces HTS. In recent weeks, thousands have been brutally murdered, Christians targeted, and a Syrian Alawite mother watched as her 3 unarmed sons were shot in cold blood. As corpses piled up in the streets, the mainstream media and international community was stunningly silent. The ACDP will not be silent of these gross violations of human rights. On a scale not seen before, some 16.2 million Christians, mainly women and children, in sub-Saharan Africa have been displaced, violently persecuted, murdered, raped, and kidnapped by groups that call themselves Islamic jihadists, and the world is silent. Is it because they are Christian or African? The ACDP will not be silent. Mozambique is listed as the 32nd most dangerous country to be a Christian. In 2022, the Mashabobos, linked to Al-Shabaab, attacked a Catholic mission in Nampula, killing an elderly missionary and burning down several churches. In Cabo Delgado, 11 Christians were executed in September 2023. In 2024, these extremists launched a campaign targeting Christians called "Kill Them Where You Find Them." The ACDP will not be silent. Thousands of South Africans cannot celebrate human rights as they do not receive proper medical treatment, education, or access to potable water. And in one of the greatest human rights violations ever, and in contravention of Chapter 211 of our Constitution, millions of babies are murdered while still in their mothers' wombs. On these human rights violations, the ACDP will not be silent.
Thank you, Honourable Member. Honourable Kwankwa.
House Chair,
Human Rights Day reminds us of the price we paid for our treasured human rights. However, for many victims of human rights violations, it is just a reminder that their rights are invalidated as they continue to be traumatized and re-victimized by the sluggish justice system. Nowhere was this more evident than the fact that the justice system failed Kwekwe, a 7-year-old grade 1 learner who is a victim of a horrific sexual assault at Beckford View College in Matatiele. It has now been 5 months since the incident happened, but no arrests are yet to be made. Kwekwe is one of the many children who are subjected on a daily basis to worst forms of abuse, particularly in schools where learners are either raped by teachers or they die because they fall into pit latrines. In fact, it is such a shame that nowadays there are no longer safe spaces for our children. 632 children were reported missing in 2024. On the same year, at least 22 children died from Plaza Shop's poisonous food, and no justice has been served. Honorable members, the brutality of our society towards vulnerable groups is unbearable. Many elderly people are subjected to physical, emotional, and financial abuse, while others are subjected to horrifying accusations of witchcraft, often with fatal consequences. Not to mention the intolerable high levels of gender-based violence against women in South Africa. As already cited here, that the stats, Q3 stats confirmed that a woman is raped every 12 minutes in our country. It is time to increase the urgency in addressing the systemic injustices facing the marginalized groups, and we have to strengthen the already existing legislative reforms that we have undertaken to ensure justice for all, more especially for children. The Department of Basic Education should also conduct proper vetting, especially for teachers, before employing teachers. It should also ensure or create a framework where teachers will have files containing their performance, misconduct, and allegations to avoid having perpetrators abusing children from one school moving to another school. We must also be the voice of the voiceless to achieve human rights, especially on the African continent. Let us think about the women and the girls in the Democratic Republic of Congo who've been subjected to increased levels of sexual assaults, where rape is used as a weapon of war. We need to speak up for change. Our voices can influence policies that promote the betterment of our humanity. Siyabulela.
Thank you. Honorable Ghana.
Na khensa mtshama xitulu ni yima ka majambu ya namuntlha ni yimela ku khensa ku hlonipha no xixima maAfrika-Dzonga lava nga lahlekela hi vutomi va lwela ntshunxeko lowu ka siku ra namuntlha hi vulavulaka hi wona. Hi na timfanelo hikuva maAfrika-Dzonga va lahlekele hi vutomi va karhi va lwela ntshunxeko wa Afrika-Dzonga. Honorable members, many have made tremendous sacrifices to ensure that we can enjoy the rights we do now. We must not forget these sacrifices. Yet, there remains a long road ahead of us to ensure that everyone, especially our children, in South Africa fully enjoys the rights set out in our Constitution. We must not lose sight of this imperative. We must continue to fight for the rights of all South Africans and build a better future for our children. On the 21st of March 1960, a battle for our democracy and rights at Sharpeville resulted in 69 people losing their lives and 180 people wounded. Every year, we return to Sharpeville to commemorate this sacrifice, particularly for the role that it played in securing the rights that we now have. Yet, when you walk in Sharpeville, you can see the poverty. You can smell the poverty. Every year we go to Sharpeville, we see the reality that many South Africa still do not enjoy the rights that so many have sacrificed, and then we leave. We have a duty and a responsibility to build a better South Africa for our children than the one we received or the one that we live in. Unfortunately, we are failing in this state. In recent weeks, we have once again heard of how our schools, the very same places that are meant to strengthen our children's future, are becoming war zones. Almost 300 rapes, 36 murders were recorded at our educational institutions between April and December last year. Not only are our children starving and thirsty at home, they are not even safe at schools. Honorable members, our children are suffering in the shadows of the many sharp veils which we do not visit. The many schools that we do not see, we are failing in our responsibility to provide them with a better future. We need to ensure that every home has a piped water, and we must also introduce regulations to ensure that an essential basket of nutritional foodstuff remain affordable for all, and we must expand this National School Nutrition Program to ensure that our children are fed 365 days a year.
Honorable Glazo Webster.
Honorable House Chair, I was here in Parliament yesterday when a group of South Africans marched past this House. And they marched because of a horror that has unfolded at a school in this country. They marched to stand up against one of the most brutal and one of the most painful violations of human rights in this country, an assault on a child, violence against children in this country. So to have a debate about Human Rights Day and not speak about this human rights crisis, the crisis of violence against children, gender-based violence, and femicide would actually be a betrayal. Human Rights Day reminds us of lives that were lost in the fight for human dignity, freedom, and justice, particularly 69 people killed in Sharpeville in 1960. But for these rights to mean anything, they have to protect humanity. They particularly have to protect the most vulnerable among us, because what are human rights to a child like Kwekwe, who was harmed in a place that is supposed to nurture her? Her story has moved a nation not because it is rare. It's moved a nation because it is all too familiar. Those women who were marching in the streets yesterday marched because either Kwekwe is them, or because it has happened to their children, or because it has happened to their family. This case is not an isolated case. In recent weeks, we've heard about a child in grade 7 in Limpopo. This is a system-wide failure. And as parliamentarians, we have a right to respond. That's why as Build One South Africa, we've called for an urgent nationwide rescreening of educators and school staff against the National Register for Sex Offenders, because that is a tool that has been underutilized and inconsistently applied. The current law only insists on screening at the point of hiring. That means that an educator, after a few years, can actually violate and still be in the system and still be teaching and standing in front of children. We welcome the Minister of Basic Education's response to this call, but we need timelines, we need transparency, we need accountability. And we've additionally called consistently and will continue to fight for the National Register for Sex Offenders to be made public, because nobody wants to have in their child's school, in a clinic, as a coach, a perpetrator who is violating their children or is exposed to their children. So South Africans yesterday marched outside Parliament, and it wasn't by accident. They came here to this House because they've entrusted us with voice, they've entrusted us with the laws and with the will to make a change. And I urge you today, the parliamentarians in this House, for us to make that change, because we owe it to Twetwe and to every single child in this country. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is the Honorable Mahawu, who has permission to speak from his seat.
No? Thank you, Honorable Chairperson.
Today, as we commemorate Human Rights Day, we do so with a fierce resolve. A resolve to deepen a culture of social justice and human rights across the country. We do not merely reflect on the past, we demand action. We stand here today committed to fighting for the dignity of every South African, particularly those whose rights have been trampled on by a system that too often turns a blind eye to injustice. The African Transformation Movement has never been passive in its fight for human rights. We do not sit idling by and wait for justice. We demand it. We hold the powerful to account, we take action, and we expect swift results. Honorable Chairperson, the ATM has already made its voice heard in the face of shocking cases of injustice. Let us speak of Lailane Nyana, a prominent figure of the Central University of Technology in the Free State, who has publicly admitted to using her position of influence to prey on young girls. On the podcast And Chill with McG, she brazenly admitted to exploiting her platform to manipulate vulnerable girls. We as the ATM are not standing silent. We wrote to the NPA demanding that charges be laid against Nyana immediately. We wrote to the CUT urging them to suspend her from her position until the investigation is concluded. We will not allow the powerful to abuse their position without facing the full force of the law. We demand justice for every girl whose life was impacted by Nyana's action and will not rest until justice is served. Similarly, the ATM has demanded answers in the case of Twekwe, the young girl who allegedly raped at her school in the Eastern Cape. The horrific crime calls for immediate action. We have returned to the Police Ministry demanding answers as to why the case has been mishandled and will not accept any more delays. The ATM demands swift action, will not allow another child to be left in the hands of justice system that fails to protect the vulnerable. We have also returned to the Minister of Basic Education, urging her to take immediate action to ensure that schools become safe space for our children, not places where they are preyed upon. The ATM demands urgent intervention to protect the rights and dignity of all learners across South Africa. Will not stand by and watch as human rights are violated. Will not allow corruption, violence, and exploitation to go unchecked. The struggle for human rights must go beyond criminal justice. It must be woven into the very fabric of our society. The ATM's mission is to ensure that every South African has access to basic human rights, access to education, health care, clean water, and economic opportunities.
Thank you, Honourable Member. Your time has now expired. Honourable Saleh.
Thank you, Honourable Chair. Assalamu alaikum. As Al-Jama-ah, we note that Universal Declaration of Human Rights and the laws of our country is in tatters and it has been violated over and over. The International Court of Justice has proven not to be the highest court in the world, in name yes, but with not much teeth. It has failed the Palestinians as it lacks the ability to take to task the Zionist Israeli bloodthirsty leaders and their supporters and their gross human rights violations. We are sitting here today from our own country to many others around the world where human rights abuses have increased without shame. In fact, we have those rejoicing the massacre, starving of and denial of basic human rights. We have people who are supposed to be God-conscious, lacking humanity. Reality, we don't have to be God-conscious to switch on our humanity. We have people denying a genocide happening in their lifetime before their eyes, calling the brutal murder of babies, children, civilians as regrettable and that they are casualties of war. Yet they do nothing to stop it. They protect and defend the perpetrators, people who see certain lives as more important than others, people who support theft of land and property, the bombing of innocent lives, torture and famine. Shame on all who are guilty and in denial. Shame on all for allowing these atrocities to happening, talking, negotiating, workshopping, benefiting on the misery of others. In our country, many of our people are dragged out under influence of alcohol, desperate in escaping the hopelessness of their situation, denied a decent education, homes, jobs, dignity, massacred, their land taken, restricted on their own land. Our country is raped of its resources, and who benefits? Most definitely not the people of this country. Islamophobia in South Africa is rife, and Muslims are openly attacked. Look at the words being used in this very parliament to discriminate against Muslims. Muslims identified as Islamists and terrorists and targeted. Social media is rife with Islamophobia in South Africa. ACDP continues the hate speech and narrative of Islamist jihadists. Yet Muslims are sought after in elections. Why? Our compassion and contribution to the GDP and to the upliftment of the most impoverished. We are good enough when needed, but then discarded. In the DA-run city of Western Cape, freedom of speech is targeted and people arrested. Cases not strong enough withdrawn, while human rights are violated. On Friday, a young man was arrested after a protest, clearly targeted and profiled. Honourable Speaker, members of Parliament and viewers, what human rights? Another debate. What action will be taken to protect us all and our offspring from apartheid, racial oppression, inequality, Islamophobia, economic discrimination, and the impact of forced removals? 30 years into democracy, we're still suffering. The World Day of Social Justice, South Africa Constitution recognizing the need to tackle these issues, social justice, equality, harmony, etc. March has come and gone, with the day of combat of Islamophobia forgotten by many.
Saleh, your time has now expired.
And Langa Day has come and gone. Ons praat te veel en ons doen te min.
Honourable
Dankie.
Saleh, thank you. Next speaker is the Honourable Magagula.
Thank you, Deputy Chairperson. Honorable members, having inherited a broken and divided nation, one of the principal tasks of the ANC-led government since 1994 has been protect and advance the ideals of human rights and live up to the words of President Nelson Mandela when he said, I quote, "Never, never, and never again shall it be that this beautiful land will again experience the oppression of one by another and suffer the indignity of being the skunk of the world." Close quote. These words have since been expressed in the Bill of Rights and our Constitution as cornerstones shaping how this land is governed and advancing the national democratic revolution. In the many strides advanced by the ANC-led government, we have seen significant progress in empowering women in various fields. These efforts have supported the achievements that have given us, like Asad Mahapa, who became the first black female pilot, Asanda Luwata, a young black woman who is the executive chairperson of the NYDA, and Desiree Ellis, who leads our nation's Banyana Banyana, which has made our country proud on many occasions. Many, despite the incredible legislative reforms and social programs to advance women's rights as human rights, too many women remain disenfranchised and victims of abuse. The late President of Mozambique, Samora Machel, reminds us that our quest for liberation will never be complete without the total emancipation of women. I quote, "The emancipation of women is not an act of charity, the result of a humanitarian and compassionate attitude. The liberation of women is a fundamental necessity for the revolution, the guarantee of its continuity and the precondition for its victory." Close quote. These sentiments remind us that sustainable development cannot coexist with injustice. Therefore, we call for the release of the National Register for Sex Offenders as a critical step towards protecting vulnerable groups and empowering institutions to make informed decisions that prioritize public safety. We call on government departments to work together in holding abusers accountable and implementing the National Strategic Plan on Gender-Based Violence and Femicide. As citizens, we also have an essential and active role to play.
Please just take your seat for a moment. I have a hand here to my left. Honourable Member, why do you want to be recognised?
Thank you, Chair. I'm going to repeat myself, and unfortunately it's you who's sitting on the chair again. The Zulu language in all the interpretation and the Ndebele language is not here. I want to urge once again that please, Chair, let's balance this issue, because our people are sending us messages to say, what is happening again? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. I will ask the table staff and the technical staff to advise on that. Honourable Member, please continue.
When was that?
Thank you, Deputy Chair. We call on all government departments to work together in holding abusers accountable and implementing the National Strategic Plan on Gender-Based Violence and Femicide. We also note the global challenges that affect the rights of marginalized groups. To this end, we stand in solidarity with the LGBTQIA+ community in Uganda in the face of the Anti-Homosexuality Act, which imposes severe penalties for being part of the LGBTQIA+ community. We stand in solidarity with women across the world, from the Middle East to sub-Saharan Africa, where women's rights and access to reproductive rights are hindered, either due to restrictive laws or cultural, religious, and political instability. International and regional treaties such as the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and the African Charter on Human and People's Rights are essential in setting global goals and standards for protecting human rights and holding governments accountable. We must continuously raise our voices to affirm that human rights should not be luxury afforded based on where you were born, race, class, gender, or sexuality. Human rights are inherited from birth. We are all born equal and worthy of respect, dignity, and a fair treatment. Honorable Chair, we must also commend the government strides in prioritizing the dignity of poor and vulnerable through introducing the Social Relief Distress grant during the COVID-19 pandemic. Owing to its position or positive socio-economic impact, the government has been investing in and extending this program to continue supporting and empowering millions of South Africans. However, given the criteria role delayed by this grant, we call on for the SRD grant to be discontinued as a temporary measure and for the basic income grant to be introduced, which is a long-term comprehensive intervention. It is also essential to reflect that the 18 to 59 age group that receives such grants does not want to live off government assistance, but wants to work be self-sufficient. To this end, we call on the government and the private sector to continue investing in SMMEs and supporting economic growth to create opportunities and put our people to work. Democracy thrives on an active citizenry, where individuals can exercise their rights to expression and participation. Empowering citizens and building a robust nation that knows its rights can hold the government and institutions accountable for demanding fair treatment and protecting its rights essential. Under the Bill of Rights, every person has a right to life, equality, and human dignity. This includes the right to citizenship, security, and protest. Movements like the total shutdown, fees must fall, and roads must fall are examples of the power of active citizenry. This protest highlights the effectiveness of collective action in tracking system issues and achieving socio-economic liberation. Through such efforts, we can dismantle cycles of inequality and foster long-term progress for all. As we commemorate the 70th anniversary of the Freedom Charter in June 2025, we remain true to ensuring that the rights of people shall be the same, regardless of race, color, or sex. We reaffirm the ANC's commitment to overcoming inequalities and building an inclusive society for all. The Bill of Rights and Constitution are the foundations of our nation, guiding all pursuit of a just.
Thank you, Honourable Member. Your time has now expired.
Thank you. I thank you.
Is there a speaker on behalf of the NCC? If not, then I recognize the Honourable the Minister of Land Reform and Rural Development.
House Chairperson, we are here today because of the decision 65 years ago by the President of the Pan-Africanist Congress of Azania, Robert Mangaliso Sobukwe, to launch the anti-pass campaign. This campaign sought to end the practice that the African majority had to carry a passbook that sought to control their movement and their access on the land that was stolen from them during the brutal wars of conquest and colonialism. The apartheid government's response to the anti-pass campaign on the 21st of March 1960 was equally brutally resulting in the massacre of 69 people in Sharpeville and 21 in Langa in Cape Town. The peaceful protesters that were killed and the hundreds that were injured were only advocating for a just and equitable society. They wanted to be treated as equal human beings in their land. The democratic order ended the dehumanization of the African majority by introducing legislation based on equality, human rights, and equity. Because people have different needs, it also actively promotes the participation of all individuals in all spheres of society. Most of all, the values of the democratic order values and respects diversity. These core principles of social justice are so perfectly enshrined in the Constitution that is considered the best in the world when it comes to the protection and promotion of human rights. But the majority of our people continue to experience a life of exclusion, unfairness, inequality, unemployment, and poverty. The restoration of the humanity and dignity of our people will only be complete if they have their land returned to them. Without land that is yours, you will continue to be a second-class citizen. Without land that is yours, you will continue to feel insecure in your place of residence. Without land that is yours, without land, your social status will continue to be in doubt. Without land, you will continue to be food insecure. Without land, your source of income and sustenance will continue to hang in the balance. But most of all, without land, your dignity is challenged. Those crying about expropriation must get used to this term restoration. As the rightful owners of the land, our dignity will never be fully restored if our land is not restored. The restoration of the land is the way to deepen our culture of social justice and human rights. This is the PAC I lead, the PAC that led Sharpeville, and I lead it with pride.
Thank you, Honorable Mahlatsi.
Thank you, Chairperson. Khotso Africa. As UAT, we argue that human rights in South Africa remain a dream deferred for the majority of our people. While our constitution guarantees dignity, equality, and freedom, the reality tells a different story. The struggle for land, the vision for Pan-African unity, and the principle of Ubuntu compel us to critically assess whether the human rights are truly realized in our beloved country. How can you speak of human rights when millions of South Africans remain landless? Land is not just a soil, it is a dignity, identity, and an economic freedom. The Section 25 of the Constitution, which protects the property rights, has failed to undo the historical injustice of colonial and apartheid land disposition. A prime example of the case of District 6 in Cape Town. In 1966, thousands of black and colored families were forcibly removed from their homes under the Group Area Act. Decades later, despite promises of land restitution, many are still waiting to return. Meanwhile, prime land remains in the hands of the privileged few. In the rural area, communities like Makasaneni, people in KwaZulu-Natal face the land grab from mining companies, leaving them without access to farming and water. The government's failure to protect these communities undermines the right for dignity, self-sufficiency, and economic freedom. If human rights are real, then the land must be returned to the rightful owners. In 2008, 2015, and again in 2019, we saw violent attack against African migrants in a place like Alexandra, Soweto, and Durban. This attack, fueled by economic frustration, reveal how our leaders have failed to implement Pan-African economic policies that uplift all Africans. The African Continental Free Trade Agreement is an opportunity to build unity. Yes, South Africa lags behind in fully utilizing it. If we truly believe in human rights, we must embrace African economic cooperation and stand in solidarity with African brothers and sisters. Consider the mine disaster of 2016. 3 mine workers, Bridget Nkambule, Yvonne Mnisi, and Solomon Nyirenda, were trapped underground when the shaft collapsed in Mpumalanga province. Their families continue to fight for their bodies to be retrieved, and justice remains elusive as the mine owners and the government has failed to take this responsibility. How can we claim to respect human rights when the dignity of workers is disregarded and their families are left in pain and uncertainty?
Thank you, Honorable Mahlatsi. Your time has unfortunately now expired. Honorable Chachal.
House Chairperson, the concept of social justice speaks to the very lifeline of the Constitution of this Republic. It speaks to the hopes and aspirations of all Kokobetu, whose graves exist today because of their relentless pursuit of a rising sun that shines equally for all South Africans, united in our diversity. It speaks to the core of today's generation of young people's desire to experience this land and its economy as fruitfully theirs. It speaks to the very essence of President Ramaphosa's cabinet and this House's mandate to serve. The real question of today's debate is whether in the last 31 years, the South African government has managed to deliver social justice to its people. My answer is, it tried, but tripped on itself on its way to doing so, so no. There is nothing just and humane about living in a country where the ANC, a former liberation movement now turned our modern day oppressors, thinks it makes sense to tax South Africans rather than to grow their economy and give them jobs. Where pop-up political parties like Action SA are cruel enough to sell this country and its people to the most cheapest and useful bidders, the ANC, in exchange for one round of fame. There is nothing just and humane about a budget that seeks to further rob our people of opportunities to put food on the table for themselves and their families. See, living in a country where a majority of its people are unemployed and depend on a below basic grant to buy baby formula and school shoes, that the ANC wants to tax, where 6 out of 10 young people are unemployed, living in depression and forced into a life of substance abuse and prostitution for survival, is socially unjust and inhumane. See, to them it makes sense to make the cost of food, electricity, transport and basic living more expensive and more unbearable than it already is, instead of cutting the fat of fruitless and wasteful expenditure that has become second nature to what characterizes the ANC style of governance: corrupt, ineffective, and wasteful.
Order, Honourable Member. Honourable Jama-ah, just take your seat for a moment. Honourable Member to my right, why do you want to be recognized?
I want to check if the speaker can take the question on when she bring it back.
No, thank you. I'll first inquire with her whether she is prepared to take the question. Honourable Jama-ah, are you prepared to take a question?
Certainly not from a political
Thank you.
party
Please
that
proceed.
masters destroying the lives of South Africans.
House Chair.
Honourable House
House Chair.
Chairperson,
Honourable
second
Jama-ah,
nature...
please pause again. Honourable Michalakis, why do you want to be recognized?
Thank you, House Chair. My apologies for interrupting our member at the podium. There are members of the ANC holding up placards, and I just want your ruling on whether that is allowed and parliamentary. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Honourable members, previously in this very same debate, House Chair Majosi dealt with the matter. She ultimately, in the face of some discrepancies between the 9th edition of the rules and what seemingly was amended to Rule 64 thereafter, undertook to refer the whole matter to the Rules Committee again. So at this point, I'm not in a position to take it any further. But maybe for the sake of the decorum of the House, let's just all listen to speakers and let's conclude this debate in an orderly fashion. Honourable Jama-ah, please continue.
Instead of cutting the fat of fruitless and wasteful expenditure that has become second nature to what characterizes the ANC style of government: corrupt, ineffective, and wasteful. Of course, theirs is a commitment to nothing else but the pockets of cadres. Living in a country where a 39% political party is unintelligent and shameless to the extent of passing legislation that compromises any and all South Africans' right to own private property in the name of public good is the very antithesis of deepening a culture of social justice and human rights in this country. See, to them it makes sense to tell myself as a black young woman that should I, by God's grace, be able to have a shopping complex that has multiple franchises in it, that
Honourable
employs young...
Jama-ah, please pause for a moment to take your seat. Honourable Deputy Minister, why do you want to be recognized?
I want to check if honourable member wants to entertain a question from us.
Thank you. I'll check again. Honorable Gagau, are you prepared now to take a question?
I'll take questions from the media, Honorable
Thank you. I
Chairperson.
think Honorable Gagau has already...
By God's grace, owner
Honorable
shopping-
Gagau, just pause for a moment. Honorable members to my right, Honorable Gagau has already indicated twice now that she's not prepared to take a question. Please do not interrupt her further by inquiring. Thank you.
So should we just...
Honorable Gagau, please continue.
To them, it makes sense to tell myself as a black young woman that should I, by God's grace, own a shopping complex that has multiple franchises in it, that employs young people who would be able to feed their families and live dignified lives in my hometown, Welkom, in the Free State, that in the name of public good, the state that can take the land on which my establishment is built. If the state wakes up one day with the bright idea of wanting to turn my shopping complex into a government office, then in all their brightness, they can characterize their reason as public good, for it is good for the people to have a government office. If I dare say no to the taking away of my future children's inheritance at a compensation rate of the state's liking, no to the disruptions of the lives of hundreds of families who will lose a breadwinner in the name of public good, according to the ANC, it makes sense for it to be incumbent on me to seek the counsel of the court at my own cost. House Chairperson, any policy that seeks to undermine private property is a violation of South Africa's human right to private property as enshrined in Section 25 of this Constitution. The characterization of a sober reason to take away people's private property as people good opens up the door for politicians to arbitrarily deprive us,
Honorable
the people,
Gagau, please
of our property.
pause for a moment. Honorable Deputy Minister, why do you want to be recognized now?
No, Honorable Chair, I think Honorable Gagau is misleading the public about the land expropriation. Is she interested to take a question? Because you cannot continue to mislead people about land expropriation.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy
We will
Minister.
take the land.
Honorable Deputy Minister, that is an issue of debate. Previously in this debate, order, honorable members. Previously in this debate, others has argued strongly about land to the other point of the scale. Honorable Gagau's right to now argue her case must be protected. Honorable Gagau, please continue.
House Chairperson, today the president of this country is Cyril Ramaphosa. But if we wake up tomorrow to the horror of a Panyaza Lesufi, Jacob Zuma, Julius Malema, Gayton Mackenzie, Herman Mashaba, and...
Honorable Gagau, please take your seat. Honorable Skosana. Order. Honorable members, order. I want to listen to the point of order. Order. Honorable Skosana.
Thank you, Chair. Let me remind...
Order.
Chair, let me remind the Speaker that President Zuma is not in this House. He must talk to us. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. That is a point of debate, although, Honorable Gagau, let me remind you of the rule that says that we are to refer to fellow members in a respectful manner. So therefore, when you refer to other members of this House, call them honorable or at least Mr., Mrs. or Doctor. I have a further point of order, so please stay put for now. Dr. Letlape.
Thank you, Chair. On Human Rights Day, it is a gross violation of Mrs. Gagau's human rights for her to be used as a scapegoat to present a position of white superiority.
Yeah, Honorable Letlape.
She needs to be protected.
Honorable Letlape, That is an abuse of the rules. That's not the point of order. I had a hand from the EFF. As you see, I wear glasses, Honourable Mtongweni, so I can't see up to there. Do you have a point of order? No, Honourable Member, don't abuse your hand to then raise a
Yes.
placard.
Thank you, House Chair. I was just quickly showing this, but anyway, nevertheless, blue lights are gone. Chair, I know the member may be very heartbroken for her colleagues, but she must not attempt to invite us to a debate. Can she concentrate on the human rights debate and stop name dropping our president and wanting to be famous by using the name?
Thank you. I've dealt with that matter even before you raised the point of order. Honourable members, we need to continue the debate. Unless you have a real and new point of order, I'm going to ask you to allow Honourable Gagau to continue. Honourable Gagau, you've been advised to debate within the rules. Honourable Gagau, I see another hand here to my left. Honourable member, why do you want to be recognised?
Okay. Honourable Chair, thank you, Speaker. We can't allow the House to insult our President in his absence and allow the member to actually cast aspersions that are unfounded. It's not parliamentary. Please call the Speaker to order.
Honourable member, that matter has been dealt with before. This is part of the debate. Honourable Gagau, please continue.
Thank you, House Chairperson.
Chair, this side. Chair. Honourable Gagau, honourable members, order. Honourable member to my right, do you have a point of order, or are you continuing in the same vein of just trying to criticise the Speaker?
No, Chairperson, thank you very much. On a different matter, Chair, I wanted to check if it's parliamentary to vote together, and after a few minutes you
No, honourable member, you're raising on a frivolous point of order. You know better. Order. Honourable Michalakis.
Thank you, Chair. It's nice to finally be recognised. I want to know if it's parliamentary for a member to refer to another member as a scapegoat for white supremacy, which is firstly misleading, but secondly casts aspersions on her character. And I would like your ruling, if it's possible, please.
Yeah, thank you. I have ruled that that was not a point of order. I take your point of order under advisement and come back. Honourable Gagau, please continue.
The horror of Herman Mashaba and anyone else who believes that state should have unvetted power over the individual.
Honourable Gagau, please take a moment. Honourable member, I'm going to recognise you. It's now the third time you've interrupted the same speaker. And I must advise you, if this is not going to be within the rules, then I will look into treating this as a grossly disorderly. Do you want to proceed? Please proceed.
Chair, I want to check if the Sudo Gogo Maweni is able to take a question.
Honourable member, you've already asked that. She's already indicated she do not want to take a question. Any further intervention from your side, which is not in terms of the rules, I will deem as grossly disorderly and ask you to leave the House. Honourable Gagau, please continue.
The horror of Herman Mashaba and anyone else who believes that the state should have unvetted power over the individual, then we will have a doomsday, then even if we wake up to a DA majority.
please take your seat. Honorable Reddy, why do you want to be recognized?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I moved from the front there to the back here, near to the Speaker, and I still find that my human rights is being violated because I cannot hear the Honorable Kakua. And I want to raise some points because she's obviously intimidating members here into hysteria. So please, we need to hear her, and we can't hear. We are really disadvantaged, Speaker.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Reddy. I'll ask the technical
I'd like to
staff.
invite you to come and sit here and see if you can hear. You're welcome to come sit next to me.
Thank you. I take your point. I'll ask the technical staff to again look into the sound quality. Honorable Gagau, please continue.
Even if we wake up to a DA majority government with all our sobriety in government, as a matter of principle, no politician in democratic South Africa should ever have the same power as the apartheid government's power to forcefully remove any South African from their land unless it is done as an act of justice and the correction of injustices of pre-apartheid democratic laws. In conclusion, House Chair, the unthreatened ownership of private property accompanied by a title deed is not only socially just, but it is one
Honorable
of the
Gagau,
best
please
protections.
take your seat. I see a hand there to my right. Honorable Member, why do you want to be recognized?
I want to check, House Chair, if it's parliamentary for a member to come here and tell us about the removal of land. Was it parliamentary for black people to be removed?
Honorable Member, you are not raising a point of order. You're not intervening in terms of the rules. I'm going to mute you and allow the Honorable Gagau to continue. This is a frivolous point you are raising on.
It is one of the best protections of human dignity any state can give its people. This is a legacy a state president would want to leave behind. This, together with a pro-jobs and economic growth fiscal plan, is 100% pro the people. This, the Democratic Alliance advocates for.
Thank you. The next speaker is the Honorable Munyai.
House Chair, thank you very much indeed for the opportunity. But what I want to raise as a first point is that the facts are not contested, that the African National Congress has consistently championed the progressive policies that included the fundamental freedoms and human rights as enshrined in our democratic constitution and our Bill of Rights as we celebrate today. The Article 1 of the Universal Declaration boldly stated the following, open quote, all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights, close quote. The President of the Republic of South Africa, His Excellency Cyril Matamela Ramaphosa, reaffirmed the Universal Declaration when he said the following, open quote, the Bill of Rights enjoins the democratic state to enact various pieces of the legislation to promote human rights between and amongst the people, close quote. Honorable members, this is your national duty to enact or to formulate legislation. As the ANC, we underscore the fact that we fought and respected the rights of workers, and indeed we remain unashamedly biased to the working class and the poor majority of our people, whom the majority still remain trapped in the valley of despair, trapped in poverty. Only the African National Congress cannot forget the poor, the homeless, the jobless, the victims of crime, especially the gender-based violence and femicide, because we have a huge obligation on our shoulders to protect the rights of all South Africans. The facts are not contested that Our understanding for international human rights should not be determined by our grasp of its antithesis. This is the mechanism for national operation and liberation. In the quest of unwavering commitment to build a united, non-racial, non-sexist, democratic and more equal South Africa, otherwise referred in as a national democratic society. The facts are not contested that as the ANC, we resolve to broaden the intellectual horizon in the debate for the advancement of socio-economic rights through the dignified manner rather than the fabrication of truth and playing into the gallery and in the public discourse. Today, the character of some political parties were demonstrated to be anti-democratic, with obsession geared to liquidate and remove the ANC out of power, either by vote or through the court of law. A number of rhetoric speeches with no content were barely exposed themselves. It will be incorrect and inconsistency of the ANC to dignify the hogwash rhetoric with a response, because it lacks human rights ideological substance. We underscore that the people of South Africa have confidence in the African National Congress because we are committed to redress the past racially discriminatory laws and practices, rather than the backward rhetoric that fuel misinformation and the barrage of propaganda. The people of South Africa, in the upcoming 2026 local government election, don't vote for those parties that are opposed to a budget, to increase your social grant, to expand public infrastructure, to increase our export capacity, to give water and sanitation, to create employment and grow the economy. Today's past fiscal framework was a people's budget because it will be distributed amongst the people to address the people's infrastructure challenges, to create employment and grow the economy.
Please just pause for a moment and take your seat. Honorable Manye, why do you want to be recognized?
Thank you, Chair. I just want to check if the member can take a question whether...
No, just hold your question until we first hear from him. Honorable Munyai, are you prepared to take a question?
That the budget is going to...
Only a question with ideological content.
Honorable Munyai, please continue.
Honorable Chair, Honorable House Chair, the facts are not contested, Honorable
Munyai,
that beyond the question of human rights.
Please pause for another moment. Honorable Manye, why do you want to be recognized now?
I'm raising in terms of Rule 85.
Yes.
The member is casting aspersions.
Well, I've not heard any aspersions, but I'll look into it. Honorable Munyai, please continue.
The facts are not contested, Honorable Moore, that beyond the question of human rights we are privileged to debate today, ANC made fundamental strides to serve the people of South Africa without a public glory. For the past 30 years, the ANC has made a fundamental progress in building millions of houses. Going forward, we are concerned about building the quality of houses, a right enshrined within our Constitution. The facts are not contested that for the past 30 years, we built many schools and...
Just pause again. Honorable Sosana, why do you want to be recognized?
Rule 69, the honorable member is creating a serious disorder and disruption.
No, Honorable Skosana.
Yes. He's talking about elections.
Honorable Skosana.
Elections. And we're going to win those elections.
Yeah, Honorable Skosana, if you want to intervene, do so in terms of the rules. That is not an order that can be sustained. You know better than that. Honorable Munyai, please continue.
The facts are not contested that for the past 30 years, we built many schools. Going forward, the people will receive the quality of education through the BELA Act, a right enshrined in the Constitution. The facts are not contested that for the past 30 years, the ANC has built many clinics and hospitals. Going forward, our people will receive a quality of health care, regardless of the socio-economic status, through the NHI Act, the right enshrined in the Constitution. The challenge is, however, we could either understand it to be economic literacy characterized by the failure to comprehend or appreciate South Africa's structural economic challenges in the context of widespread unemployment, inequality, job security, insecurity, poverty, and the rising cost of living. Why today the neoliberal and pseudo-revolutionaries are opposed to fiscal table budget by the Honorable Minister. The core fundamental socio-economic rights and fiscal instrument that will distribute the budget to the working class and the poor overwhelming majority of South Africans. The budget will increase social grants.
Please hold on. Honourable Member, why do you want to be recognized?
I'm checking the Speaker whether he's preaching the pastor.
No, Honourable Member, that's not an intervention in terms of the rules. Honourable Munyai, please continue. Honourable members to my left, please refrain from frivolous interventions.
The fiscal instrument is not merely a policy pledge. It is a critical giant step forward in achieving the economic justice and ensuring South Africa's economic benefits for all the citizens, not just the privileged few that are opposed to this budget. It will provide a safety net for the unemployed individual while they actively seek work, upskill and engage in small ventures. Unemployment people of South Africa, don't vote for them. Those that own SMMEs and cooperative owners, don't vote for them because they oppose your budget. The budget will further increase local demand, leading to more business activity and the job creation, encouraging the entrepreneurs and financial stability that enables individuals to take economic risk without fear of immediate destitution. So therefore, those that will be employed by this budget, especially those that are expanded public works program, please, EPW workers, don't vote for them. They are opposing for funding. Guided by the Freedom Charter, the Lodestar, and the Constitution of the Republic, we will not allow any form of economic sabotage of the country by pseudo-revolutionaries and unpatriotic bourgeoisie from the extreme right and left. Our observation, House Chair, is that they will decimally fail as they did today. The ANC will prevail. The dictum that the ANC live and leads is uncontested before the people of South Africa. The nuances that oppose the fiscal framework are equally opposed to service delivery. They are opposed to prosperous South Africa. They are opposed to economic growth and development. In final analysis, their argument is baseless, inaccurate, incorrect, because they lack substance. The facts are not contested. The ANC will remain the leader of society. Sebon.
Thank you. Honourable Deputy Minister, why do you want to be recognized?
Thank you. Thank you so much, House Chair. I wanted to ask if it is parliamentary for you to continue to chair this parliament sitting when you have voted against its budget that is appropriated. I just want to understand if it's parliamentary.
Thank you, Deputy Minister. When you sit in this chair, your voting record is irrelevant, but let's see how it goes. Honourable members, that concludes this debate in the business of the day. Honourable members, including the Deputy Minister, are requested to stand and wait for the presiding officer and the mace to leave.
Finito. Bring back the blue lights.
Blue lights are gone.